greetings and good evenings. We're going to talk about FouseyTube. More specifically, what we can learn from the whole FouseyTube situation. I think the problem with his thing is that like he surrounded himself with like sycophants, essentially just people that like they don't care about his well-being or whatever. They're there for the bag, right? They're there, you know what I mean, until the wheels fall off. And you know, as we're seeing, right, like the wheels are falling off, right? Like the guy's not okay, and that's unfortunate, right? That's super unfortunate. But like I think that's part of the thing that comes with this whole online content creation thing. Like, it's unfortunate, but sometimes like the crazier and the more stupid shit you do, the more clout you get, right? The more people you get eyes on you are. And the real unfortunate part of that is that that's the whole part of the game, getting as many eyeballs on you, your actions, and your content as humanly possible. Because without that, like I was saying before, like we're not making bills, right? We're not, you know what I mean, we're not putting mom up in a new house or whatever the fuck it is. Like whatever your goals are, you're not able to do that stuff, right? Like it's an unfortunate like fact that like you need money to live. Like that's straight up, like barring you know, your opinions or your political leanings or whatever, like one thing that we can all agree on is that you need money to live. It's necessary. It's required that you work, hustle, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? Why I want to talk about the sycophant portion is because as you're coming up and as you're getting big, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people, you maybe have a core friend group or like some homies, and it's so important that you keep those motherfuckers around. Granted, some of them are not going to be happy for your success. Some of them are going to be mad that it's you and not them at the time of your rise or whatever the fuck. That's unfortunate. Those people, you have two options for dealing with them, right? You kick them to the fucking curb, or you take what I'll call like the Drake approach, and you just give them a piece of that little empire you're building, you know what I mean? Or you help them build up their own shit. And maybe they get bigger than you, maybe they don't, but the point is like that's what they're really after, right? Like that's kind of why they're upset. Not that like that you are successful, that like they're like, fuck man, like I thought I could do this, or I've been doing this, like, and I'm not like where they are, like what the fuck. Those are your options for dealing with those people. But again, whatever method you choose, it's important to keep some real motherfuckers around you, like the people that knew you before the fame or that were with you on that journey. You know what I mean? The people that stuck around, that stayed up with you. It's so important that you keep those people around, because eventually, once you start making friends with just famous people, your whole thing changes or whatever. Because they have like people that have been in the what we'll call the game, right? Whether it be being a famous rapper, being a famous streamer, or whatever, right? Like once you start hanging out with people who have been doing that for a while or have only been doing that, you know what I mean? Like their rise to fame and shit was like a long time ago and all that stuff. Like once it's just those people, like you lose sight of like the real world, so to speak. You become out of touch with with normal people, essentially, like people who don't do that, people who don't, you know what I mean? It's unfortunate because you can go to those people and say something crazy like, bro, was I wrong to like act all crazy at that casino or whatever, and they kick me the fuck out? They'll be like, nah bro, like fuck those people, right? Like nah man, like you were totally in the right, like you're gonna keep doing your thing, you know, like just like, you know, fuck the haters or whatever. Whereas like if you're fortunate enough to have a real friend around you, they'll see the difference between you before you got all crazy on fame and you after the fact. And that shit is really important. It's so important. I guess what I'm getting at, I think that's like the Fousey problem, really. Granted, yeah, there's like mental health stuff there, blah blah blah, but like the real is just like surrounding yourself with people who don't care about you, but like kind of what you could give them. And like what you could give them is like clout, money, like, you know, fame, you know what I mean? Like it's all the things that like won't matter later. Like I saw the same sort of thing in the Pokemon, only I didn't really realize what it was. And then granted, also it didn't lead to any sort of like public mental health breakdowns or whatever, but like same kind of shit could be said, right? Like I saw people that would like pre getting, you know, partnered, because that's like the mark for famous. That means that wouldn't mean shit now, right? But like that was the mark for being like you made it back then. So they get partnered or whatever, right? And then like slowly but surely, like some of the people that they would talk about with, like because this is also Justin TV era before we switch over to Twitch. Let's say like you used to bring your homeboys on, and you'd all talk on stream in a call together, like a Skype call, because we were also using Skype back then. I'm old as fuck. And then it would slowly change, right? Like you get the partner, and then it's like, and then all the people that like wouldn't give you the fucking time of day before, right? They're like, oh man, like we got a link or whatever, like, get me on stream, get me on call. And then you only end up talking to those people, right? Homies nowhere to be found, right? And then your homie's like, yo, like, let me like come up for a little bit, I got some time today. And you're like, sorry, man, I can't do it, like I can't just like be inviting random motherfuckers up on stream. And you're like, bro, like, I thought we were boys. And it's like, nah, man, it's content creators now kind of thing, right? Like, one by one, the homies get phased out, and it's just the other people that are partnered, or like that have a certain subscriber count, because which is a number they arbitrarily, like decide in their head, right? It's like, well, I don't want anyone like below a certain threshold, you know what I mean? Can't have the rabble, it's that sort of thing. It is definitely that sort of thing. It's sad to see, and like those people, at least in basically every situation that I saw, or the people that I saw that do that, they gradually just become worse, unironically. And it's sad, like it's sad because like they probably don't realize it. They're the people that watch them do to some degree, right? Like a lot of people, a lot of viewers and stuff will stupidly say that it's the money that changed people. That's rarely the case. It's the type of people you surround yourself with. Money can change a lot of things, but like it rarely changes like your whole personality. What those people are really talking about is that like they started hanging around a certain group of people or another, or stopped hanging around the other group. And like once you got like a whole new batch of people in there who like, come in with their own thoughts, opinions, and what have you, like, yeah, of course that person changes, because they're kind of playing up to a different audience now. And it sucks to say, but like that's kind of like what it is. Like you'll see it for sure. And that's why I think on the road to your eventual success, internet viewer, it's really important to keep your friends around, man. Like your actual friends. And I don't need to like tell you like, what an actual friend is. Like that's for you to decide, like what you require in that kind of space. But just know that like that's what would hold you up. Okay. That's what's gonna hold you up from everything else. Like that's the limiting factor, I think. Or if not the limiting factor, that's the thing that like gets you into trouble, type of thing. That's what gets you into like a Fousey situation. I mean, having people around you who don't know how to say no to you, or who encourage the times when you're absolutely being fucking bonkers. Like you can't have. You don't want, I'm not even gonna say you can't have, you don't want people around who aren't willing to check you, essentially. Like we all require checks and balances, right? Like our personalities being what they are, like there's a reason why we have the kind of friends we are. Now, there is like a fringe case where it's not necessarily like the friend group, it's just that like over time you've only cultivated like yes men around you. In that case, you're fucked. Like there's nothing that could be done, you know what I mean? Like you were, you know what I mean? Like what did homie say from Fallout? It was rigged from the beginning. Yeah, that's you. It was rigged from the beginning. You had no chance to ever be a normal person. The thing I'm really confused about is like how people I feel like are missing that important take or piece. You know what I mean? Like everyone's like, yeah, he's had mental issues for a while now. Like there's all this other stuff. And if you like I saw that water bottle video where like him and the dude are like splashing water on their face, and like the reason why you want people around you because like that will check you, because that shit was mad disrespectful. Real talk, absolutely like out of line. If you had homies around you to check you, they'd have been like, first of all, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like you're throwing balls of water at people and then getting mad when they throw it back. Like what? Like bro, you're crazy. Like they should be the people like punch you in the mouth for that shit. Like real talk. Like that's absolutely insane. What makes the whole thing worse is that like everyone just laughs, right? Like everyone around him is just like they're laughing, and that just kind of like reinforced the whole idea. Like, yeah, I'm on the right side of this thing. You know what I mean? Obviously, like a lot of these people, like, like everyone in that room or what have you, like, you could like I could see it. Like those people aren't there because like they like this dude even or care about. They're like, hey man, like I'm gonna be on the stream, I'm gonna be with the boys, or like I'm with him as he's going through like Vegas and doing all the crazy stuff, you know what I mean? Like they're just there for the content, you know, the clout, the whatever. And it's really sad because I think like we all need a person like that, even if it's just one homie. Like there's a list, it's a short list, mind you, but like there's a list of people where if I ever achieved any sort of like modicum of status, like or fame, I guess I should say, status isn't the right word for this. It's like if I ever achieved some sort of like, yeah, like any sort of modicum of like fame or anything like that, there's people that like no matter like what happened, like those people have got to be by my side, because like one, like these people I know would always have like my best interest in heart. And then on the second half of that, like I know for a fact they'd check me. They'd be like, Stellar, you're being absolutely fucking bonkers, or like, hey man, like that was not the move, like that was not it, type of thing. Like they'd be honest with me like 100% like the entire time. A lot of people don't have that, and a lot of people eventually reject that once they do get famous, you know what I mean? Like they don't want to hear that they are possibly wrong, because they're, you know, you're the big streamer now, like you're the big YouTuber man now, like, or you're the niche macro celebrity on Twitter. Like you don't want to hear any other opinions, but you gotta keep those people around. Absolutely. It's probably the most important thing about content creation and stuff that people don't talk about when, you know, all the contracts shit is over. Like, because like some people are there, right? If you have like a situation where you have like an agent or a manager or whatever, like they're, I mean, like it's good that they're around and that they are there or whatever, but like at the end of the day, like granted their job is getting you paid, but like at the end of the day, like their thing is getting paid, you know what I mean? Like they may not care the same as like your friend or whatever, right? Like you want someone who has like almost no interest in whether or not you continue to succeed and be famous. You want people that want that for you, but like you don't want someone whose own well-being or fame or status hinges on yours, because those people will eventually, like, it's not even like a bad thing, but like they have to be in it for themselves. They are in it for themselves, and they have to be that way. That's the way that shit works. Because if you're not, like, I've been told many times, like in my own career, you know what I mean, like the only person that's like looking out for you is you. And usually what they really mean is that like, well, no, sorry, that's a bad way to put it. What they say, the exact wording is, no one cares more about your career than you. And that's true. Absolutely. Like whether it's content creation or like, you know, regular 9-to-5 job, no one gives a fuck if you're promoted. Your boss doesn't care. It's like if you're lucky, your friends and your spouse or your significant other, they want that for you, obviously, but no one cares more than you do, right? Like no one cares if you get 100 subscribers on YouTube this year or whatever. No one gives a fuck. You do though. You're invested in that. Some people will come along and they're invested in that so far as it can help them. And you have to be able to recognize people. And like, granted, those people are gonna always be there. Like if they're really good at it, if they've been doing it for a while, they are really good at hiding their true intentions. But it's your job beyond all that to like look inward and then look who's around you. You know what I mean? When you're at that party, take that moment and stop around, right? Look, who's smiling, who's laughing, who's watching you, kind of thing. You know what I mean? God, I've definitely gone down a rabbit hole past all the Fousey stuff, but like that really is the lesson though, right? Don't surround yourself with sycophants and yes men. I mean, same fucking thing really, but you know what I mean? And if at any point in your journey, whether it be VTubing, YouTubing, streaming, you look around a room or a Discord and you don't recognize or you can barely see, you know what I mean? Like you don't recognize anyone in there, like you don't have any friends that knew you before you were famous at the bottom, that's a sign for you to get back in touch with those people or leave it all together. And I know that sounds fucking insane, but like that's my philosophy. That's been my philosophy with anything in life, whether it be my own career or even this. If I get the feeling that like it's just me type of thing, or I'm not wanted or what have you, or people around are only, you know, after your soul, essentially. You know what I mean? They're not there for your well-being, and they don't give a fuck about none of that because, again, they don't have to. That's your sign. That's your sign to get the fuck out of that space, or find your real friends and bring them into that space. 100%. You have to do that. You have to be cognizant and aware of that sort of thing. I don't know why no one talks about that sort of thing. I really don't, because it's so important. It's really important. I would venture to say that the people in the online space who have the least amount of like controversy around them or like scandal are people who don't abandon the real homies or whatever, who always keep you on track, who always keep you on course. You know, they keep you pointed true north. All those other people, they forget. They leave those people behind, and they just hang out with their fans, or they're just surrounded by their fans. And your fans also kind of don't care about you, real talk. Like, they care about you as far as you're entertaining, in whatever way that could be, because you gotta also remember, like, you can have anti-fans who will keep egging you on to do dumb shit. Fousey has those people, right? I think that's like the majority of the people that like enjoy watching him. I'm from the South, so the best way I can say it is like a lot of people like NASCAR, but there's a lot of people that go to NASCAR, the Daytona 500 or whatever, to see a fucking car crash, and that's real unfortunate for the driver. You know what I mean? So you also have to be real to yourself, not just like with your friends, but like the kind of audience that you've cultivated. Really like look around, and it's like, if you ever get the feeling that you're like, man, this is kind of dumb, but the audience likes it, I should do it for that. Don't do that shit. Don't do it at all. It's possibly the dumbest shit that you could do. Hopefully, again, like I've been going on about, like, you got your friends there to help and like be like, hey, don't do that shit, big bro. But if you don't, realize that there are people who would gladly see you crash and fucking burn, and it's really important that you avoid that at all costs, obviously.
If you enjoyed this little rant, why don't you subscribe and check out my other videos. See you next time.